I'm Suhasini, your host for today. And thank you all for being here. And to welcome you all, I invite Dr. Mahesh Basireddy on the dais to give a welcome note.
Thank you. Thank you, Suhasini. Good morning, everybody. Yeah. Please be seated. Be comfortable. I'm delighted and happy to see my friends, family members, business executives, and all the team members of this project. Thanks for coming and welcome. Coming to our chief guest, Mr. Lalit Ahuja. He is the CEO of Answer. Actually needs no introduction. He brought so much economy and employment to the city of Bangalore. He put this city on the map. It's a great honor and pleasure for us to have you here at this inauguration, sir. I sincerely thank you. Coming to the NMR project, why Bangalore? Why I picked Bangalore? The short answer is, I love Bangalore and I want to be attached to it. That is the short answer. Again, I did my medical school from 89 to 95. And those were the days I used to love the food, weather, culture, people, except the traffic now. Okay. Everything is very beautiful about Bangalore. So that's why we decided to come and invest in Bangalore. Again, why I preferred this location. I know a little bit about Bangalore because I've been here since 89. You see a lot of areas, Whitefield, electronic cities and all. But if you look at the North Bangalore, this is where the future is. Because I never wanted to go and chase the hot thing. You always need to go and catch something which is going to be hot. That's my goal. That's where I do my business in US and all. So when you look at this location, it's very strategically located. It's right next to the airport. And it has multiple entry and exit points. And if you look at the KIDB layout, this is very beautifully planned. There are going to be hospitals, there are going to be malls, there are multiple buildings. You look at the SAP building is coming up, there's a Boeing, there's name it, Cricket Academy is coming up. So this is one of the best locations, and I think this is where the future is going to be. That's the reason I picked this location. And going to NMR GreenNest. NMR, how did the name come up, NMR? So a few years ago, I told my father-in-law to go and float a company. I told him, you come up with some name. So he started with NMR Software Solutions Private Limited. And somebody asked me recently, what is NMR stands for? My father-in-law's name is Nagamal Reddy. Maybe he came up with the NMR. He says, no, that is not true. That is Neelima and Basu Reddy. Neelima and Mahesh Reddy. And hope that is true. No, I'm just kidding, yeah. And that's how this NMR started. And why we came up this GreenNest, because it's a green building. We are trying to conserve water and energy. We have an STP plant. We're going to install solar panels on the top floor, and it's like a nest. We are trying to do all this employment, everything under one roof. It's like a nest. So that's why we came up with this GreenNest. Then coming to this project itself, I know we went through a lot of hurdles during our COVID pandemic, but we never compromised in the quality. And if you look at the surrounding areas, this is one of the biggest building as of today, after Shell, in the software park. And this is a green building, and we never compromised in any quality. And all this credit goes to multiple team members involved in this project, including Rati Architects, Seacon Constructions, Cushman Wakefield, our promoter, Fidelity Corporation, and various other vendors, HVAC, plumbing company, electrical companies, landscaping. And I would like to thank every single person involved in these projects. Please give them a big round of applause. Last but not least, my father-in-law, Mr. Nagmal Reddy, he put his heart and sweat in this project. He has been the spine of this project. He has been on the front end, without whom this wouldn't have been possible. Please give him a big round of applause. And finally, I would like to thank my mother-in-law, my wife, Neelima Reddy, my sons, Abhay and Akshay. They all have been supportive throughout this journey. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome.
Again, on behalf of Nagmal Reddy, Dr. Mahesh Basireddy and family, I once again warmly welcome you all to the grand opening of NMR GreenNest. I am Suhasini Deshpande, your host for today. I am part of Fidelity's family and head their HR business. Today, we celebrate not only the opening of this fantastic office space, but also the remarkable growth and transformation of Bangalore. From its roots as a garden city to its emergence as a tech hub, Bangalore represents India's rising prominence on global stage. India, a driving force in global development and innovation. India, a nation with rich history and culture, has emerged as a formidable player on the world stage. Its dynamic economy, characterized by rapid growth and an ambitious population, has made significant strides across various sectors, marking its influence far beyond its borders. Today, in the field of technology, India stands out as a global leader. The country's tech hubs, such as Bangalore, and the government's Digital India initiative is transforming the digital space and driving technological advancements. For instance, India's pharmaceutical industry, its robust production capabilities ensure the accessibility and affordability of essential medicines across globe, particularly during COVID-19. Space exploration by ISRO, such as Mars Orbiter mission and Chandrayaan mission, further highlights India's potential in space and technology. Our country is investing heavily in solar and wind energy and is leading the charge in promoting sustainable energy solutions on a global scale. The more we discuss this, it becomes evident why investing in India is a logical next step. Our country offers a unique blend of a large skilled workforce, a rapidly expanding consumer market, and a conducive environment for business growth. Today, our distinctive panel will delve deeper into these topics, exploring the multifaceted role of India in driving global development and innovation. We will hear from them who are experts across various fields, gaining insights into how India's advancements are shaping the future and contributing to a more connected, healthy, and sustainable world. I am thrilled to introduce the distinguished gentlemen on this stage, each of whom brings an impressive profile and immense industry knowledge. And my introduction of them holds no light to their illustrious careers. I call upon our first guest, Mr. Lalit Ahuja, to the dais. Mr. Ahuja is the founder and CEO of ANSR. Before establishing ANSR, he held the position of CEO at several prominent companies, including Datamatics, LG Electronics, and Star TV. He also served as chairman and president of Target India. Mr. Ahuja's career began in Indian Navy, where he retired as lieutenant commander. During his naval tenure, he led the prestigious Naval Computer Application Center in Lonavala and served as the senior engineer officer on several warships. Having established more than 125 global centers, he is rightfully called the GCC man. Welcome on the dais, Mr. Ahuja. I now invite Mr. Upendra Ruchapalli over to the stage. With over 20 years' experience, he is currently the Executive Vice President of Western USA, operating from USA. He has responsibility of global sales. He was instrumental in growing the sales in USA from business with Fortune 500 clients such as GE Healthcare and GV Aviation. Upendra has Masters in Electrical Engineer from Western Michigan University. We welcome you to the panel discussion. I now invite Mr. Pradeep Rankapalli to the dais. Mr. Pradeep began at Thomson Reuters in 2006, playing a key role in setting up new operation centers in India and Costa Rica. Pradeep is presently the Managing Director of Global Centers and Content Operations at Thomson Reuters, where he oversees a global operations team. He leads 5 strategic global centers, facilitating the transformation of integrated operating company. Previously, as SVP of Commercial Excellence, he facilitated accelerated growth and creating capability in GTM effectiveness, commercial strategy, and sales operations. He has also established a new analytics and data science capability, serving over 5 lakh customers globally. Before joining Thomson Reuters, he was an associate partner at IBM Strategy and Change Consulting and a management consultant for the Summit Group. Welcome to the stage. Now I request Mr. Kiran Rudrappa to come to the stage. Kiran Rudrappa is a visionary leader and has co-founded multiple entities that focuses on revolutionizing the way end users, channels, and brands interact within various sectors. Passionate about innovation and nurturing emerging ventures, he is dedicated to creating and cultivating ecosystems that drive product innovation, market access, and manufacturing across diverse sectors. He is currently associated with Pospol as its co-founder and is spearheading the development and execution of captive business focused on cultivating startups in defense, health, food, and well-being domains. He's establishing a strong network of industry partners, investors, and mentors to support startup success in short. His expertise lies in transforming visionary ideas into thriving businesses. Welcome to the stage. And now I welcome Mr. Damodaran, our moderator for today, on the stage. With over 25 years of leadership experience, Damodaran has proven track record of delivering profitable business models, cutting-edge technologies, and high customer satisfaction. He has led a strategic business unit providing engineering and manufacturing solutions to global clients. He has held many senior positions, such as Vice President and SBU Head of Aerospace and Defense, Managing Director for Safran Engineering, where he set up, built, and helped it grow to what we see today. He's currently the CEO of Celton Semiconductor. He also he's a PhD candidate at Christ University, Bangalore, researching artificial intelligence, machine learning, and cognitive AI for business applications. He's passionate about leveraging AI to enhance business innovation and process excellence in aerospace and defense industry. He's an active speaker on these topics on various forums and is a very well-respected man in the industry. And today I hand it over to him to take this panel discussion forward. Thank you, gentlemen.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome. Thank you, Suhasini, for setting the good stage. And today I'm a little bit nervous because I'm in the middle of more than 150 years of cumulative experience. So let me try my best to run this program for the day. The content is like, I always want to put India first. Why India? Because we have a very long heritage. Suhasini nicely put a lot of qualities for India, and Magesh also welcomed you all with the passion for the country, even though he is very busy in his business in the other part of the world. It's my honor and with the great respect and humility, I start this panel discussion with a profound significance. India, a driving force in a global development innovation. I remember one of my French boss used to always say, we used to ask why you like so much India, like why you want to bring your high-tech engineering, aerospace engineering to India, especially in Bangalore. He always say, India got its heritage not now, for several decades or centuries. India is a knowledge bank. Uh, those who are in the financial segment, bank is where you invest your money and you get some returns. He say if any country, if they are not investing their money in the knowledge bank of India, there is no rate of interest appreciation, no return of investment. So the early, the best. So that is why, and his wisdom was true. This discussion happened in 2004 when we were doing some initial inception. From the time and today, I am seeing that there is a significant growth. And India also very strong in the roots, like from the Indus Valley to the digital transformation. We have gone so far and so excellently because it's not available in many parts of the world, but India maintains this heritage, so we need to look into that. There are several things, like Ayurveda, games, textile. We have been forerunner in terms of innovation, but not many of us know and recognize this. And today's terminology, like in the year 2000, the term offshore or cost arbitration thing started. But today, we are not moving the work. We are making the companies to come over here truly transnational operation. So it is evolving. And what is next? In the next 30 minutes, we just want to deliberate, not focusing on specific to this industry, but positioning India in the global dais to see what we achieved and what all the challenges, and also from the experts' experience, I want to share some of their forethoughts to the audience. So this is the agenda for the day. We also know that in terms of percentage, like 57% of the global outsourcing market is going from India. Because we are not adding up these numbers, but it's quite big. That means half of the world relies on India with the great minds and great people. And many of you would have seen the GDP numbers. We are beating our numbers year on year. I hope this trend will continue. So in summary, our contributions from the technology field is immense. And with this short introduction, let me begin my questions to the expert panelists here. Hope this is fine. Okay. So let me start with the veteran and the leader in this field, Mr. Ahuja. Keeping India as a driving force, I think one of the things is apart from skills, one important quality is the leadership quality and our influence to convince the entire world to look at India, do some business. So I want to ask a few questions and a few thoughts from your side. As a number one innovation performer in the region among 37 lower middle income countries, okay? Leave the Western countries. How can India leverage this leadership position further in the region as well as globe?
No, thank you. So before I answer the question, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate Dr. Mahesh and his family and partners for this day. I guess this is reposing their faith in the India story. India is obviously a phenomenon whose time has come, and there's no better location than where we are in terms of how this story is going to unfold in the times to come. Dr. Reddy already spoke about, some of the great institutions that are in the neighborhood, and that is a huge validation of the years ahead. So I guess building on the India innovation story and how we can contribute to the regional economies and at the global stage at large. First of all, we are as good as our neighborhood. So, it is in India's interest to ensure that the regional economies also move up at the same pace as India from a broader economic and social development perspective. And given where we are as a country, the fourth largest economy, I guess matter of time before we become the third largest economy. The population dividend we have, I guess again a matter of time before we become the most populous country in the world. I mean, there was a time population was considered to be a liability, and now it is dividend. It is our unfair advantage in terms of the population helping us not only in terms of the broader economic development, but also the brain power that will come out of this population that will become the horsepower for the world. I guess India's dominant position in innovation is now undisputed, and like how we've done in many other sectors, the role India is going to play in transferring some of our capabilities and capacity and competencies to the broader regional economies, whether it's through leadership, it's through talent, it's through the IP or the products that we are going to be developing, or even providing opportunities to the regional economies in partaking in the huge success and the transformation that lies ahead is going to be one of the biggest opportunities from an India perspective. We are now becoming the brain power of the world, not only because of obviously a highly educated workforce, or as Damodaran brought out the fact that nearly half of the world is in India from an outsourcing, offshoring, or from a global talent perspective. We are a relatively young workforce. If you look at the proficiencies, the surplus that we have from a STEM perspective, I mean, we are sort of miles ahead compared to rest of the world. So there is phenomenal opportunity that we have as a country in terms of leveraging our dominant position, our strategic capacity, capabilities, innovation, horsepower in contributing to the broader development of the region and the world at large. So, I mean, this story is just beginning to unfold. I just want to bring out some anecdotal facts. I just got into a team that is, working on the Viksit Bharat 47 strategy. Some ways to go. I mean, we're still talking, I guess, 20 years, but imagine that we are going to be a developed and not a developing country in the next 2 decades. A lot of it will be driven by the innovation that our talent is going to bring, not only to the country, but also to the region and to the world at large. And some of the practices that we have used in the inclusive development of the nation, we're going to be bringing in this inclusivity in terms of also supporting the broader regional and the global economy. So in as much as a lot is going to happen in terms of how we're going to become a developed country in the next 2 decades, but I guess what stands out and to some extent answers your question is the fact that it's going to be an inclusive model of development where we're going to take the region and the world alongside us, and in the process prosper ourselves as a country.
Thank you. I think thanks for a very good narration of how we have reached this position, what is ahead. The next question comes to us. Achieving a success or a position is purely based on our collective effort and hard work, One other factor is how are we going to sustain this? My next question to Mr. Upendra, like India consistently invested and we collectively worked. If you look at our rank in terms of innovation index, which Mr. Ahuja was again and again stressing, this is what our success mantra. We were at 81st rank in 2015, but today we are somewhere in 40th position. It's in 10 years we are able to jump to the half of the milestone, but still a lot of milestones to cross until 2050 or 2047. What do you think that what brought us up till now, and what we should do to maintain this pace and the momentum until we reach the top 5 position, for example?
First of all, I would like to thank you, my beloved friend Mahesh and his family, for inviting me for such a grand opening. I'm very happy and proud of Mahesh, who, who is able to invest in such a big building here in India, in Bangalore, which I couldn't do it, even though I'm a software engineer, and his brothers are also software engineers. So on the lighter side, what I want to say is, I want to go back and join medicine now to start such a building. Coming to this question, what Damodaran is asking. So India's in 1990, India started with a lot of, other countries started outsourcing a lot of their business to India, but for a low level work. It's not like innovation or it's more like monotonous jobs are outsourced to India. As the time progresses, right, many of our talented youth here are like street smarts, right? They're able to quickly grasp the things. So they are no longer sticking to the low level work. Eventually, since last few years, we are moving away from services to the research, innovation, and also very hot topics like artificial intelligence, data science, which helps really in the research and also to get to the next level, to get the things done in the next level. That is where we are focusing right now. And if you consider each of the states in India are starting the innovation hubs, encouraging the, everybody is investing a lot in doing the research. So as you asked, right, to move to the next level of position, we need to invest a lot in the research. Earlier, we are always investing only in the services, where we want to quick buck to get the revenue quickly from the other countries and then sustain ourselves. But now it is time for us to invest a lot in research and innovation, encourage the Gen Z youth. They are coming up with a lot of ideas. Out of 100 ideas, only 20 ideas might come into implementation, and out of that, only 5 may get a big hit. But still we need to invest and encourage a lot of youth to spend time and energy and also money in those areas.
Thank you. I think you rightly said and nailed the key point. Innovation comes with the fundamental research. We need to focus more on the research. I think that's a very important point. I believe that someone in this last 10, 15 years invested their mind and time in research. That's why we are able to improve our processes and products as well. My next question is to Pradeep. I think you are in a very niche position, you have a kind of an overview of policies, governance. So the question for you is, can you give some insight in terms of what are the specific policies and coordination efforts have played. Okay, I'm looking at more on the policies of the country and how we adapt ourselves to the global policies. And also, we are talking more about energy sustainability. Okay, because now that we crossed a decent platform, now if you want to excel, we need to have some additional qualification. For example, today morning, Magesh was explaining when we were going on this tour. Right from beginning, his thought process is it should be a green building, it should be an accreditation by the certifying authorities, so that next 10 to 20 years, we will match our operations to the international standards, so that we can make the organizations not only bring the work, but truly transnational. So the question specific to you is, what kind of a pivotal role we have to play in terms of understanding these policies? What are your suggestions as a country, India, need to focus on adhering, understanding the policy?
Yeah, thank you. And congrats again to the entire team involved in this great project. I think in terms of policies and overall ecosystem, I think there are two broad things. One is from a talent perspective. I think India is already the leader, but the more we continue to invest in talent, especially talent coming out of colleges, right? Because the world is quickly evolving. We're no longer doing all the traditional business operations because AI is going to automate a lot of that. So we continue to invest in talent so that they're ready for the future to be in this AI-enabled world. Because doing traditional software programming or traditional business operation, I think in 4 or 5 years is going to be 50, 60, 70% of that is going to just go away because it's going to be automated. So we need to make sure the folks coming out of colleges and young talent are ready to work in that new world. We don't know what that new world is, but to be ready in that. One. Second, I think, is you mentioned about how do we take it to a level further. I think we've done exceedingly well as a source of talent for the world, which is awesome, exceptional. But I think now we need to start becoming a market for the world, right? Where India starts to thrive as a market, as a commercial market. I think that's the next step. Lalit mentioned about going from developing to develop. I think that's the trigger, right? When people start to view us as a market, like any mature market like US or UK or Germany, I think that's the key. So I think we need to start figuring out what are all the ways to do it. And I think we're well on our way. We're doing a lot of great things. A lot of innovation is coming now from here in financial innovation, fintech, digital literacy, UPI, all of that is originating from India, but more and more of that. I read an article in the papers a couple of days ago saying, will the next Satya Nadella come from India? Which is obviously very inspirational. But what will be equally aspiring is to say, will the next Microsoft come from India, right? And I think we're starting to see that early days, so I think we'll see more of that coming.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Pradeep. I think that's a good point to note. Now, my good friend Kiran, I think we share some common space also. I have a specific question for you. Taking this India's innovation journey, I think you led several key positions, and you have been demonstrating India can do, okay, in your previous assignments, and you are currently doing a very ambitious project, bringing some kind of a innovation incubation, not only for the soft skills, but also for the manufacturing segment, product as a whole, including the intellectual property IP. How do you see that the vision of we have a self-reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat? See, I have an experience designing in India is easy, okay, and design and export, and delivering a product from India from design to product. So, how do you see that with your wisdom and experience? Is this going to be a reality, and what all the challenges we need to overcome to be truly an IP country? For example, you take Western countries, US, as Upendra said, research is the only one way or a key for the success. Until you have the IP, you don't own the proprietary of any product or process. including sometimes services. So I want your vision because we have crossed a significant level and we are in a platform we are very much visible to the world. From here, how do you think Make in India and helping the, now there is a new community of startups. Big companies know how to thrive, but there is a lot of talent available in the country in the form of startup. And the mission is how to deliver the product with our own IPs. So your some of the thought process and suggestions to overcome this challenge.
Okay. Thanks, Damodar. Firstly, once again, Dr. Mahesh and team, congratulations. In fact, Mahesh is an example of the topic, a driving force in global development and innovation. I had many interactions with him, and what really comes out whenever interacting with him is working in US and building something from India for global market, and his passion for the medical, healthcare. And it's a clear example of this building being operational today is a great example of a driving force for the global development and innovation. And where he has a vision to make India in healthcare, taking a next step, in the next big step. Okay, so coming to your question, Damodar, I worked in nuclear industry, so self-reliance is not an option. You have to be, because you do not get an technical support, maybe in equipments or materials, and you need to be self-reliant to large extent. Okay, so the same experience, if you really extrapolate and then look at in the global market, as innovation is happening at the various places, and after COVID, the innovation is no more just in a global, and it's also really required in the region wise too, the country wise specific too, your own security, your own safety. In that context, so we are really driving on two things. One is the globalization, at the same time being specific to the country, specific to the region. So Atmanirbhar is one aspect of that. And many times we hear that when there's a conflict between the two, when you speak about globalization, another moment you speak about an Atmanirbhar, they are not conflicting with each other. In fact, they are really to safeguard one at the humanity level, at the global level, at the second one is a regional level, and specific to the region or country which you are operating with, and your own dynamics, your own challenges you are facing with. So Atmanirbhar today, as India is emphasizing that developing the products from India, solutions from India, it is not an easy game. There are many, many challenges. Today, one of our ecosystem partner is working on one of the very critical system for the defense, and that is typically imported from outside. And today we are looking at having an IP more than 50% from India, and developing large extent from India. So where many of these subsystems are not even sold to India. Even if it is sold and there's a discussion about it, it's always at second or third generation, but not the latest generation which is being offered. And many times we hear that this cannot be discussed at all with India. Okay, so these are the challenges. There's no compromise on safety and security of the nation. So we need to be self-reliant if you really want to make sure that these technologies are born here, intellectual properties are taken here, and build a solution to safeguard the nation. Just to give an example of safety and security of the nation. So today the solutions what we're building upon is coming from India in collaboration with few companies from outside too, but intellectual property residing here. So yes, there are many challenges in that process. One is intellectual property rights. Again, I want to stress upon it. Many countries, many companies will not be interested in parting away with that. And even they would be business perspective, they'll be interested in it, but countries may not be interested in giving that IPR out of India too, so out of their country too. So these are the challenges in one aspect. Second one is the manufacturing, and the third one is how do you really integrate such complex systems and deploy it and meet the end user's requirements, and how do you test them? Okay, these are the state of the art technologies. Okay, so today with the advancement of our own PSUs and our own talent, today we are in a position to develop and integrate and offer these solutions from India. And also we hear many things from the defense. They have been stopped buying from outside many equipments products, and they need to really buy it, otherwise they need to go to the highest level to get approval to purchase it, and as an exceptional case today. So those are the things which are really driving the people to look at how these products can be indigenized or designed and developed from India. So intellectual property rights, there are some challenges. Manufacturing, we see in a challenge, and talent, definitely, we need to collaborate in a couple of areas from outside India to make this happen. So I think we are in, as Lali said in the beginning, and this is the place. India is a place today. If these challenges and an opportunity, this 1.44 billion people offers, and 7% GDP growth this country is offering, and 5 trillion economy in the next few years, maybe a third largest economy in the world, and where else is in a place for the innovation and then being self-reliant and coming from here to the global market. I think we are at the right place at the right time.
Thank you, Kiran. I think you nicely did, with the bringing some live examples, there is a need, both in terms of at home, also for the global market. I'm sure many of the developed countries, they always started with protecting their own technology, IP, their country, and now they are able to go to the global with their signature. Thank you very much for that well articulated explanation. See, now that we have seen India is definitely in the sweet spot, from now onwards, I would like to discuss few topics on maintaining the competitiveness. It's basically sustainability, with a lot of adrenaline rush, we achieve some targets, but there is a sustainability factor also matters. That means, as every business, there is a competitor. Okay, in my engineering business, we were very comfortable when we were doing business for Detroit companies from Bangalore for automotive. Then after some time, we saw a couple of other European countries, East European countries also come into the competition, and Mexico, for example. One thing what we learned is what you attain and achieve is not permanent. That means you need to continuously innovate your business processes also to stay in the competitive edge. My question to Mr. Ahuja is because you have done a remarkable thing. It's not only bringing the project, you brought the companies itself here so that no need to switch the packets, but you integrate these operations as a global teams. So we speak the same process, same language of business, and that is quite interesting. But again, it's not so easy, sustainability, to maintain the competitiveness. What are the skills and the nuances or special techniques we need to develop in India to sustain this, especially the international presence, global market, because everything goes for a global bidding. Your tips and suggestions for competitiveness, how we should inculcate right in the process.
So I think if we go back to the fundamentals and look at competitiveness as cost, price, quality, and innovation, four pillars to competitive advantage. So we should be able to produce at a lower cost compared to the other options the world has. We should be able to seek a higher price for our services, our products, our innovation, which obviously brings in the premiumness or the sustained premiumness of what we offer. Quality becomes, extremely important. And of course, we've been talking about innovation. I guess we are at a stage where, India is now accepted in several sectors as, the option the word comes to. I'm talking specifically everything that relates to services, and eventually services will give way to, the products that will be morphed out of service propositions. And we started our journey as a country with cost arbitrage, with a price advantage. Some of it just came with the ride. I mean, the fact that you are in a low-cost economy, gave us that advantage. But that's fast going away. Our own salaries and the cost of, producing, products and services is going away, and therefore we need to move to the next, orbit. Much of it has to do with, capacity and competency arbitrage. We don't talk much about capacity, but it's going to be an important competitive advantage for India. Not just the capacity that comes with the sheer numbers, the population, the size of the talent pool, but I'm talking more strategic capacity that has to do with, AI talent, with digital sort of workforce, with, people who understand cloud and can ultimately help, the word transform to a whole different, stack altogether. So that's going to be an important, consideration from a capacity standpoint. We have the numbers, and a lot of it is going to be now sustained with, subject matter expertise, with leadership. I mean, building on what Pradeep was talking about, the next Satya Nadella coming from India, it's just not, somebody knowing the job. It's about leadership. It's about the ability to convince the world in terms of, our prowess in, services that, we are going to be providing. And finally, it comes back to how we continuously, keep innovating around, what has got us here. I mean, as, the saying goes, what got us here will not take us there. So the next frontier is going to be building on what made us successful. It's going to be more, around different pillars of competitiveness. A lot of it has to do with, building the next, building the new, helping industries reimagine themselves. We are in a very interesting spot as, we get well past, Industry 4.0, and we're getting into, an uncharted territory with everything that AI is going to bring to us in terms of how work is going to be done. And, it goes without saying that, much of the AI talent, is here. So it's just not leveraging the use of that talent for reimagination of the word, but it is use of what the talent can do to, put India at the forefront of competitiveness in terms of everything that would be a pillar for our next growth and transformation as a country.
Thank you. That's quite interesting. You touched upon the transformation part also. That was quite nice. I have two open questions anyone can pick up. While we are talking about this, we are talking about the current trained skills. Any thoughts about what we should go back in the development of the skills, especially at the level of educational institutions? Because that is key, because India is, like India produces more technocrats than all the world put together. Of course, China is emerging. Any suggestions, of course, we have to give something back to the society as a social responsibility. We know that we spend a lot of money and time in skilling them or on the job training when they come out of the college. Uh, what kind of suggestions we need to, because we also see the universities and schools and colleges elsewhere, and we also know that the path we crossed. It's time for us to give back what we can suggest to improve the foundational skills and knowledge of the educational institutions.
Hope many of you are not still sleeping. Yes, we are almost done. Two more questions only. So regarding this, what skill sets are required in India, like or anywhere, the company growth depends upon two things. One is the intelligent quotient, the second one is the emotional quotient. While many of us, right, like many companies focus on the intelligent quotient, which naturally comes through trainings, always technology, innovation, like AI, data analytics, any such kind of skills, we'll try to train them. But my suggestion is to focus on the emotional intelligence also. That puts us totally together in a different spot. If a company has got both balanced emotional intelligence and the emotional quotient as well as intelligent quotient for many of the employees, the company will go to the next level. There's no doubt about it. But it's not easy to train them in the emotional intelligence or like having empathy, listening to the others, showing the gratitude, such kind of things. So that is where I think we should focus on. Many of us should focus to get the younger generation to see how they can thank you, gratitude, expressing the gratitude, patiently listening to the others, helping them to solve the problems, not having too much attitude. This kind of education is really important, and that's what I think.
Yeah. Kiran, you want to add something to this? So one good thing.
Yeah. So last week I was in Paris, and I met Indian family and husband, wife, and two children. And while discussing with them, their 17-year-old kid, he's put his innovation on YouTube and got a liking from the Bill Gates. Okay, so in a simple device, $10 device, which he has put on the ponds, that will vibrate and then makes this, water to float, vibrate around. So there's no mosquitoes breeding there. And that really liked by the Bill Gates, saying that when a $10 innovation coming from India, and when I was spent about 2-3 hours with the family, they all came from Arbindro School, Pondicherry. And what really is striking, from the discussion is that the environment in which they are, grown, the studies, there's no curriculum, there's no exams, but they are taught the fundamentals of, science and through nature. And they can speak any subject, any domain, and their ability to pick up is so fast. And this came from the kid at 17, didn't had any idea about the biology or electronics. So I think we need to really have an education system that really teaches us the, not as compartment of various subjects, but a sort of something which is cut across us and teaches us the nature, okay, the way the nature works, and then this is a foundation, and then building the education from there. And both the kids have 2 to 4 patents, and the business acumen is extremely good. And as Upendra said, the emotional intelligence, emotional quotient of them is very, very high compared to what I really, normally we come across. Their ability to deal with the situation, ability to respond to the business. And some of those products are very matured, Lalit, to take it to the market. When I asked, he's now 27, he said he's not yet ready. And he said when he is working with MIT, many other universities in the incubation centers, and he said, no, still I'm not ready. I need to work another 2 years before I put this product in the market.
I think very good. Both of you, I think, touched a very important takeaway for us today because normally we don't differentiate that. We always focus on IQ, and EQ plays a lot of catalyst role to bring some supremacy to our intelligence. And you also nicely saw that, like constraintless learning along with the looking towards the value addition is also will help. I think I have a few little delicate questions. Uh, it's more related to diplomacy and international relations. I think I want a very open view and honest view based on your experience and what you see. How does India's strategic diplomacy contribute for the global normalization, peace, or the stability? Is one question. And what we need to do to position ourselves in the global stage because we have UN, we have big powers, US, but most of us are interacting with these countries on business. But how to raise the topic for today is India, not the individual business. Very open suggestions from any one of you.
No, I think we're very well positioned, honestly, because I think we take a very non-aligned stance to most issues. So we are viewed as to be a very non-controversial, neutral, objective partner. So I think from a government perspective, bureaucracy, missionary perspective, I think they're doing a great job building us up more and more and more. So I think we have a pretty good positioning. Honestly, I think the work to be done is more from the private sector. What should we all be doing to enhance the stage a little bit more? I think we need to focus a little bit more on not just being as a source of talent for the world, but as a place where ideas are born and where we're creating things for the world, where we are a market. So I think in terms of the global stage, overall, I think positioning for India in recent times has gone up significantly. We're well regarded, highly respected. I think in the past we used to be had some issues associated with it. I think those have moved past quite well. I think now it's up to the private sector to enhance our image.
Thank you. Ted?
Yeah. I think there is some ground to be covered, and I'll take two different aspects. The first one is, of course, how are we positioned? As Pradeep said, we are well positioned, but I guess if you look at some of the global, platforms, we got into G20, but there's G7 that dominates the agenda. It's been, I guess, 6-7 decades of trying to get into the UN Security Council, and it's highly unlikely that can happen, given how UN is structured. But our next phase of development would require us to, position ourselves very uniquely and very differently on the global stage in order to attain some of our internal growth objectives as well. I think there's a lot that we can learn from China. Much of it has to do with how quickly China progressed as a country and then got rogue, and that obviously isolated China, and China continues to get isolated from the global stage. And as we look at the opportunities that are going to be the next frontier for India, the big concern that the international community has is around India becoming a China. So we are going to see a world where there is concentration risk is going to be one of the important factors. Companies are going to ensure they don't have all their eggs in the India basket, specifically when it comes to, services and products. There's going to be a lot of, risk mitigation that is going to be practiced by the world, simply because there's a lot that China has taught the world. The role that we have to continue playing is to convince the world that we will never go the China way. We would be a country, an economy, a platform, that would be inclusive. I guess, what we did during G20 was, taking that message to the world. And, the timing couldn't have been better because of the different conflicts that were going on. And of course, everything that China was doing. And, India came as in some ways, a breath of fresh air, right? So if we have to go to the next stage, I guess it has to be around how we integrate from here on with the international community and with the global economy.
Thank you. I think it's very important for us because after some time, our playground will be much larger. We have to face a lot of people. That's where the EQ plays a vital role, the diplomacy and how to manage conflicts. We need to train our next generation in these lines because we will be only in the advisory position later, but they are the one going to drive. I think it was a very interesting, I thought all these questions will be very tough, and thank you for handling this very eloquently in a very simple terms. Before I go to my concluding remarks, I want to thank Dr. Magesh and family for entrusting this task along with my good friend Achut from Fidelitas. And thank you for this opportunity. And it was a wonderful gathering here. And one thing I want to tell you, after coming here, the way Dr. Magesh explained and we are seeing, we all know that offshore centers, delivery centers, capacity center, managed centers. Being this particular facility, I am visualizing maybe in another 5-10 years, this is situated in the middle of high-tech park. Maybe the world leading IP companies will come and house here as a high-tech technology centers. That means they're going to configure everything, as a matrix. They need not invest their time. I'm just looking at a cross-pollination of model like ANSR and the technology products. We should move from the process to the product. Okay, this could be one of my wish. I hope Dr. Mahesh will succeed in that by housing fantastic high-tech companies in his facility. Okay, now it's time for me to recite, what we learned in few topics. I think technologies has been discussed in length because that is the one which will keep up in terms of research, whether it's a business process or digital technologies are everywhere. We need to create a platform for encouraging this. Investment in research and development has been stretched a lot because that is the foundation and superpower. It requires infrastructure like Bangalore and most of the places in India. We are seeing the infrastructure again with the sensibility for environment, green, and we have a lot of certifications. Skill development has been discussed in length. That is the future workforce. Practices, sustainable practices like processes, has been discussed. We talked about globalization, both in terms of competitiveness, how we need to position ourselves geopolitically, also into the business. Of course, partnerships. I think overall, I think it's a very good feast for all of us. In fact, I enjoyed this conversation. It's very nice. If I want to get all these points, I have to spend several months and years to consolidate. I hope it's a good feast for the audience as well. Any questions from the audience?
I am Dr. Balkrishna Shetty, Professor of Radiology and Pro-Chancellor of a university. I've got only one question. Inclusive, all of you spoke about inclusiveness. And there is a lot of experience of knowledge as well as workforce. But I feel that this has to percolate into the universities and whatever we call it as the academia-industry collaboration. Instead of that, I think we should talk about academia innovation collaboration. There is so much of innovation in these minds. I think we should percolate into the universities. And there is one great opportunity which is called as a professor of practice. I can make you all of you as professors of my university, and you can get this knowledge percolating into each and every student. My university has got about 20,000 students working as engineers. I think this knowledge, that's what I'm talking to Kiran also, that this knowledge should percolate into the students. It should include all the students of this country. That's the most important question. I think we all should participate as professors of practice. That's what only one thing I'd like to do. And another thing is, whatever innovations we do, we need to look west for a FDA approval or something like that. We keep talking about that. I think we should have an Indian approval. Just keep on talking about Atmanirbharata Bharat, but there should be intellectual nirbharata, which should happen here only. We have got lot of iOS or SOC, so many accreditation companies there. I think we should have our own society, our own organization, which will accredit all these products which are done by my students. These are the two questions, because we need not see east or west. I always feel my student is the best. So feel and give that opportunity to my students. That's my request.
Well said, sir. I think points noted. I think that is one of my passion area also, but I didn't bring much here. Only by contributing, we will be able to expect. We have to invest to develop our future generation. And now that the climate in terms of economy, business, governance are converging, I think your point is well taken care.
Yesterday, one of my mechanical engineer devised a product which can detect the bone density. Because fractures are very common after the age of 60, especially in women. It is due to osteoporosis. We need to detect osteoporosis. For that, we have got equipment which is called DEXA, which costs about 25 lakhs. My student has discovered a unit which costs only 20,000 rupees. Now he cannot market it because he needs FDA approval. How do you get FDA approval for that? So I told, I've got my own diagnostic center in Malaysia, which is called Isha Diagnostics. I told him, you give that machine, I will keep that machine, and I'll do that bone density for all patients who are coming to my center for health checkup. You
Great.
that.
Thank you, sir. Any more questions?
Yeah, hi, this is Vinay Patil. I'm from Brilio. My question is to Lalit sir. I think I just overheard during your speak, you are part of some group where, you are going to guide India to 2047. So you are one of the person who is giving influence to them. So my point is where you are going to put these thoughts, whatever just came here, especially about the kids' knowledge, because I have my son who just entered into the engineering college. I don't want him to just come out of college as an engineer. I want to come. He should come out as a full man who can who can take a lot of responsibilities. Where you think our environment, because we I don't think I can send my son to US or somewhere else to study. He will be studying in India. He might do in masters outside, that is different story, that depends on him. But in India, when he's studying, where can you think, our environment, our system can help him to, become a complete man? Not CGPA 9.8% is what they are looking. For me, more than CGPA, I want him to be a proper person. So where do you think our system can help them?
So, as you can imagine, to go from where we are to where we want to get to is a Herculean task, right? I mean, and you look at it from many different considerations. We're talking of becoming, let's say, a $10 trillion economy. That is not going to happen until the per capita income increases, until, there is a GDP growth at a certain rate. If you extrapolate to how do you get to 2047. There's got to be, inclusivity. You got to take, benefit of the entire environment and the ecosystem to take it up, right? I mean, it has to be mapped to the last detail before you become another America or another, developed country in the West. So it is, and that's why you're giving yourself 20 years. It's not something that also happens overnight. But I'll tell you what is going to be foundational to this entire exercise is going to be people. We've been talking about talent, university graduates to the leaders who are obviously, playing a critical role in taking India to where we are. And there's a very interesting thought that is going around, which has to do with this whole concept of the fact that India is a leapfrog country. We've done well when we have not caught up, but we have leapfrogged. So take an example. We almost skipped the landline sort of revolution and went straight to mobiles. Everybody used to talk about 3% credit card penetration. And when we looked at how do we go from 3 to 18 and then 37% credit card penetration came digital payments. Nobody talks of, credit cards and debit cards anymore. So similarly, when you look at our overall skill development as a nation, we're talking of can there be a leapfrog strategy and can there be a ecosystem environmental leapfrog strategy, which means that can we uplift the whole academic infrastructure so we become an AI nation. We train our talent on digital technologies, on technologies of the future. And I'll give you an example, that'll make this whole concept real. So, we're doing some work with a large European bank. It's a €1 trillion AUM bank, headquartered out of Milan in Italy. And this example will tell you the opportunity that India has. So if you look at this particular institution, everything is legacy. Every technology, every product, every functionality was built 30, 40 years back and is in dire need of renovation. It won't work in today's time. It cannot integrate with digital payment. It cannot go into mobile. So if you look at a country like Italy, there are two issues, and that's the problem of the world. The first one is there are not enough people who understand digital, who understand cloud, who understand data sciences, etc. And whatever talent is available is getting out of the job market. In places like Italy, people want to go to lakes, they want to go to mountains, nobody wants to work anymore. So the opportunity is for India to become the workforce of the world, but we're not ready. And we're not ready because we don't have the skills. There's a huge skill deficit. Much of the projection for our services growth, which will become ultimately 15% of our GDP, is predicated on the fact that we will have unlimited supply of talent. The fact remains that supply, unless we reimagine our universities and the whole academic infrastructure, is not going to happen. So if you look at how we're going to get to that Viksit Bharat strategy, you have to move the whole foundation. Where we got to G20, we got to this level of growth, and the recognition that we've got as a country with a lot of superficial and the upper layer effort. But the next phase is the whole foundation has to move. So, and that's why it's 20 years and it's a foundational change that will ultimately take us there, right? So it's going to be a mammoth exercise. You'll see a lot of it coming up, and it will be a grassroots movement that will help us obviously get to where we want to go. Thank you.
Thank you. I think it was a lengthy one and it's very important. We are trying to set some foundation for the next generation and to solve these problems. With these remarks, I'm signing off. Thank you very much for the patient listening. Over to you, Suhasini.
Thank you so much. And you know what, being in the HR industry, hearing you endorse the future of India was personally very fulfilling. Thank you so much for your insights. I will take a few more minutes of the guest on the dais. What we see here today is the almost complete project, and we see how it is, we talk about it. But what goes behind is a very lengthy process. It includes a lot of vendors, a lot of coordinations and things like that. So Mr. Nagmal Reddy and Dr. Mahesh wants to acknowledge and thank